Welcome to the future of factory automation. This program is a broadcast of a Japanese podcast that has been translated into English using Notebook LM. Today, we're diving deep into the nuances of wireless communication on the factory floor. We've got perspectives here straight from those working in production. And our goal is to quickly but thoroughly get a grip on the different viewpoints surrounding this evolving technology in manufacturing.
Yeah, it's really valuable hearing directly from the shop floor, isn't it? One of the first things that kind of jumped out was this real hesitation about wireless. I mean, someone in production basically just asked, why use wireless when we can lay cables?
Right.
It really shows that ingrained trust in, the physical connection, the
Yeah.
stability.
Absolutely. There's a comfort in knowing it's physically there.
Yeah.
And it's a totally valid point, especially, like they mentioned, when changes and tweaks happen so often on the factory floor. You might think, okay, dealing with wires is just part of the job, even if it takes time. But then the conversation flipped a bit, didn't it? To the actual headaches wired systems cause precisely when you need to adapt.
Exactly. That's the interesting part. This initial thought, wires are simple, versus the reality when you actually need flexibility. Sure, laying one cable might seem okay at first, but changing that infrastructure later, even for small adjustments, that can be a huge hurdle.
Yeah, getting the specific cables, the right connectors.
Right. And the potential delays, procurement lead times, availability.
Yeah.
It can really throw a wrench in things.
It's not just the first install then. It's the ongoing stuff. Every time you need to add new equipment or maybe reconfigure a line or upgrade something, that seems to be where wireless starts to look, well, potentially much better, especially in those really dynamic environments.
Precisely. Wireless offers this agility that physical connections just can't match. This idea of plug and play, just quickly adding or removing devices without all the complex rewiring, that's a massive advantage.
Okay.
It cuts downtime, sure, but also, as was mentioned, it can actually make people feel more comfortable making improvements. It kind of lowers the stakes.
That's interesting. Feeling less daunting. So the sheer effort of rewiring might, subconsciously stop people from even suggesting good changes.
Could be, yeah.
And wireless makes it feel easier, potentially leading to more proactive improvements, more experimentation.
That's a really insightful way to put it, actually. But okay, we have to balance this excitement with the practical side, the current limitations. The discussion definitely brought up real concerns. Reliability, stability. Is today's wireless robust enough for harsh factory conditions?
Interference, too. That's got to be a worry.
Huge worry. And needing dedicated maintenance just for the wireless network itself. That's another thing to factor in.
They had that fascinating example. The Z-Coaster wireless, what was that about?
Yeah. It's this special kind of leaky feeder cable. It emits radio waves along its length. Used in amusement parks, apparently, because it's good for reliably connecting to things moving along a fixed path, like a ride.
Clever, but probably not something you just roll out across a whole factory. Why does it work for roller coasters, but maybe not, say, an assembly line with AGVs?
Good question. Well, the Z-Coaster thing is designed for very specific, controlled setups, often pretty expensive, too. And seamless roaming, jumping between access points smoothly, that's less complex on a fixed track than in the often sprawling dynamic layout of a factory floor.
Right, like your phone trying to stay on Wi-Fi as you walk around the house,
Yeah.
but on a much harder scale.
Exactly. Getting that seamless handoff for mobile robots or equipment in a complex industrial space, that's a big engineering challenge right now.
So it really, really depends on the use case, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
If you've got a super stable line, changes are rare. Maybe sticking with wired makes sense. The benefits of wireless might not outweigh the perceived risks or the cost.
Precisely. The true value, the sweet spot for wireless, seems to be in those environments with constant updates, mods, needing to add or move equipment quickly. If your production is always in flux, that agility becomes a really powerful advantage.
And here's where it got really interesting for me. The conversation shifted beyond just, fewer cables cluttering the place. The key benefit isn't just ditching the wires.
No, not at all.
It's the inherent ability for devices, nodes, they call them, to easily join and leave the network. That flexibility itself.
That's the paradigm shift, really. When devices can connect and disconnect that easily, wow, it opens up totally new ways to think about optimizing processes, becoming more adaptable. You start picturing much more fluid, responsive production systems.
But, okay, to get there, you need the right foundation, right? It's
Yeah.
not just about putting up a few Wi-Fi routers.
Absolutely not. You need robust supporting infrastructure. And a big one is power. How do you power these wireless devices? You can't have a wireless sensor tethered by a power cord, can you?
Good point. Defeats the purpose a bit.
And you absolutely need proper site surveys. Mapping out the environment, understanding potential interference, it's crucial for performance.
The discussion also touched on integrating power and communication into one cable. Kind of like a step towards fewer wires, but not fully wireless.
Yeah, and what's funny there is, even if you combine power and comms, you still have one cable.
Right. Still a cable.
It's an improvement, maybe, but not true wireless, which brings technologies like IO-Link into the picture.
Ah, IO-Link.
Yeah, it's a protocol for smarter sensor actuator communication. And maybe down the road, it could help enable wireless power and data from a central point to those devices. It's all part of exploring ways to cut down physical connections.
Security naturally came up too. Briefly mentioned, but obviously critical when you move away from physically contained wires.
Oh, absolutely. It introduces a whole different set of potential vulnerabilities you need to manage carefully.
So where does that leave us with current adoption? It sounds like it's not exactly everywhere yet.
No, definitely not widespread across the board. Wireless seems to be used strategically, where the benefits are super clear and outweigh the risks. Think AGVs, automated guided vehicles, they need freedom of movement. Or really fast-moving machinery where cables just aren't practical.
Okay.
But yeah, widespread use is still kind of held back by concerns about reliability, the cost, both initial and ongoing, and needing specialized know-how to deploy and maintain it properly.
That expertise gap is a real factor.
For sure.
But looking ahead, what's the feeling? Is more wireless inevitable as the tech improves?
There's definitely a sense that the potential is huge, and the demand for easier connectivity is growing. That example of wanting to use smartphones to connect to machine web servers, that really hit home.
Oh yeah, for monitoring, configuring.
Exactly. Imagine walking the floor, pulling up real-time data, or tweaking settings on your phone, no plugging in required. That's a very compelling vision for the future.
Someone even mentioned using a USB Wi-Fi dongle themselves to connect to equipment now.
Right. A clear sign of that need bubbling up.
But they also cautioned, wisely I think, about needing to really study and understand the tech before diving in. You can't just expect it to work perfectly in a tricky industrial setting without careful planning.
Which brings us back to the core message, doesn't it? It's not about saying wireless is always better than wired.
Right.
It's much more nuanced. It's about deeply understanding your specific production needs and picking the right tool for the job. Wireless has powerful capabilities, especially for dynamic situations, but it brings its own challenges.
So for you, the listener, what's the key takeaway here? It seems the main plus of wireless in the factory isn't just, a cleaner look with fewer cables. It's really about the fundamental agility and flexibility it offers for dynamic production setups, letting devices connect and disconnect super easily.
Exactly. And that inherent flexibility unlocks possibilities that go way beyond just swapping out cables.
So here's something to chew on. How might this ability to rapidly deploy and redeploy devices wirelessly fundamentally change factory layouts and production processes down the road? Think beyond simply replacing wires. What totally new opportunities does this inherent adaptability unlock for the future of manufacturing?